Hope you know how to. Seems like it's upside down. It is upside down.
That is indeed upside down. I think it would go that way.
That's why the big. I beg your pardon. I'm a computer and technology musician.
Oh, okay.
You know, today long before music sound was invented.
Yeah, I didn't know if this gave brains on it. So don't put your full weight on it.
So Eric, the lights are okay? Okay, do that. Oh, they understand. All right, beautiful, beautiful. So I want to welcome everyone to the first Thursday of the month featured reading plus open mic. We're delighted to have you here, and we're delighted to be hosting Tureeda, Mikell, and James Cagney as the features tonight. Tureeda is going to read first, and to me, among her many accomplishments is the fact that she's an Oakland native. And it's so funny, we're in an era where to be a native of anywhere and still be on the scene in that area, it seems like, wow, not bad, you're hanging in, you know? Yeah, no, I like that. I mean, obviously we can't credit you too much with that, but you know. But we can credit you with being the poet in residence at the Museum of the African Diaspora, which is one of the cultural icons of San Francisco, and a lot of worth checking out if you haven't had the opportunity to do so already. And also something I was very struck by, you've been involved with anthologies, over 70 anthologies involving the writings of at-risk youth, which is the type of thing, those are the types of things that sustain community and make everything possible. So that is really, work from the heart. That's very important. Tureeda is I think, a griot, social activist. Yeah, you oh, and an original Black Panther. Speaking about, yes, original things that which are in fact accomplishments, because of course we all owe a lot to what little progress we've made. These are the types of events that have been the catalyst for what movement we have enjoyed. So, let's see, the other thing, well, her book, Synchronicity, The Oracle of Sun Medicine, was nominated for the California Book Award. And I am more than delighted to welcome to the stage Tureeda, Mikell.
Is the mic okay? Okay. Excellent. Okay. All right. How is everyone? Good, good. Steve, wow. Thank you for coming. And, always there, my Irish brother. Okay. I couldn't figure out which piece I would read first. It's like, you ever have those days like, okay, let me have my mind to focus. And so, going through that. So I'll open with something that's short, that warms us up a bit. Life roots imitate mother cells, mammary wells, water-feeding trees, fertile water weaves, sun dipped in fire, lip to tongue, to weave and tail and code and lung, and behave in behalf of memory sung. Flung in a wave, weaved around the world, in all seed, man, woman, boy, girl, engraved in tone, sewed to bone, in each one's temple, sternum, mother tongue. where language sung survival, arrival, and music, chanted voodoo, call it hoodoo to blues it. Have you been to the blue? Certainly, Lord. Verse the curse on earth as it is in heaven. In meters that mattered in 5, 6, and 7. In the DNA, the ground wire was laid. The law is in light, and Amun-Ra raided everyone's home and everyone's bones, elementing life in the mother tongue tone, in the mother tongue tone, in the mother tongue tone. Okay. Okay. I am going to let's start with things that might be a little.
I'd like to point this. That's where the
Oh, right here. Okay. Okay. One of those new. Okay. I was determining to go into this direction of looking at things that have you saying, My bright 9-year-old Gran holds new toys affluent parents have purchased for him. Some are characters from games he plays on his little box locked in manufacturing consent to, I don't know. He enthusiastically exhibits the names of Balloon Man, Dog Man, and Pizza Man, and briefly explains Pizza Man's reward system. He then asked if I knew them. I said, no, I don't know them. He looks at me, pursed lips in disgust. 11s take positions between his thick brows, slowly shakes his head left to right, stops midway, giving me the side eye. Then scans me up and down like, gee, Ma, you don't know anything. Then glares at me, stating with absolute near-tween authority, the characters I've just mentioned to you can be verified because I met them personally on YouTube. My lips part, struck by his mind's reasoning. I disconnect my duty as G-Ma to produce words of encouragement, but none would come. I was too stunned, maybe even scared, to delve into his intellect, though I did note his use of the word verified and thought, good on him. I can't remember using that word at his age. Then again, I don't recall Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Popeye, Bullwinkle, and Squirrel as characters I had met personally on TV. It was always somehow a cartoon, make-believe. I observed my grandson and walk away. He looks at me. 11's now perched between my eyes, my head shaking left to right. I give him the side eye. Speechless, I verify. His reality has been plucked. You know, it's like a linguist heard that piece and he said, oh my God, it's happening. It is really happening. You know, when you read things like this to people with a lot of kids and several generations, I know a great-great-grandmother, she has like 27, you know, layers. He said, I don't know what's going on. It's just crazy. My God, what's happening? Yeah. So here is something else from another young man that I observed at the market. Sentenced memory. Seafood market Friday. Dark cocoa man-child of 3 walks proudly alongside his ruggedly handsome daddy, focused on a dinner run. Time, rhymes, explain. Little one knows not to fall too far behind. Fish on display on his way catches an array of belly-up fins to investigate. Many specimens within reach, he tilts his head, stares curiously, does not care if anyone is watching. Then this well-stocked store, his laboratory. He experiments, begins with his primal sense, presses index finger on fish scales resistant to flesh breaking, moves aroma to his nose, inhales deep, chest expands under red jacket, icy revealing his lungs' capacity, is serious about this investigative sampling. Eyes closed, examines interior. He knows he knows. Slowly opens his soul's mirror on me, exhaling an old being, looking far beyond his years, fragrance pulling him back to mother's water breaking, transforming him from amphibian to human, the scent that sentenced his existence. And that was just an amazing experience to have, because I just, it was just watching him do that. And I watched him poke, and then he just looked at me like, and I said, oh my God. His eyes were so right there, just amazing. So this next piece I'm going to do actually took place, and I won't call it a little, woo-woo or anything, but it might be called that. You'll be the judge, but it feels right. I feel I can do this here. I did this at the Berkeley Arts Museum, so you guys can deal with this. Okay. It's called Moon's Interlude, journal entry, and I used to be a reporter, so there's some things I just report. Journal dated April 30th speaks of the cultural decline of Earth climate justice, women, and the debasement of children. I note a conversation I had about a popular TV program where a doctor tells a woman pregnant for the first time she's carrying a parasite. She will birth, house, feed, clothe, and educate for the next 18 years. Women birth parasites now? 2. Moon waxes near full 28 degrees Scorpio. Regenerates mysteries of blood memories. Tide waters rise in room consumed by magnetic pools. Pulls me to a bookcase. Tunnels into a business card. First name, Barbara. Then funnels left at a book titled Awareness. Teary-eyed, more unwished-for acts occur. Shifts attention back and forth from the name Barbara to the book Awareness. Barbara, awareness. Barbara, awareness. Barbara, awareness. Am I being told to look up Barbara's name in this book? 3. Flipping through the table of contents, I find one Barbara among 53 contributing authors and essayists. Barbara Lawrence, professor of humanities at State University, New York, was editor for Mikell's Red Book and The New Yorker. In 1973, she contributed an essay for women entitled 4-Letter Words Can Hurt You. In it, Barbara addressed 3 concerns. The first, metaphors that describe women as skirt, chick, tail, or broad. Second, names for having sex with women. Did you hit that, get a piece of that, or did you screw that? And third, disowning woman's biological identity, where she said it seems to be a growing need for men to no longer see the difference between the female channel through which all are conceived and born, and the anal outlet common in both sexes. She wrote this in 1973. Who drew her name to me? Who knew she'd be the only Barbara in the book? Why was a card with her name placed adjacent to the book that hooked me? Who is the overseer linking phases of my moon into the future? What ark, by whose covenant, am I subject? 4. 5 years later, April 4th. AOL headline reads, "Women wake up believing they have a penis and no breasts." Can anyone say possession? God did give Adam dominion over every mofo thing, right? Father, Son, Holy Ghost. Where is woman mentioned among the heavenly host? Gender in disguise, AI on the rise. Church submits woman, ghost that bitch. Oh well, Orwell said, an effect can become a cause, reinforcing the original cause, producing the same effect in an intensified form, and so on indefinitely. How many minutes I have? Okay. So I'm going to do the Panther piece. You know, there's so many. I'm just honored to be a poet among you here. You know, we have to do what we do, right? Yes, that's right. Give it up for the poets. The written words. You know, whatever you do that, you know, you share with people, and you know, I'll do it on the phone. I don't care. You know, stage. Otherwise, you know, you just have to do it. So, this next piece. Where did it go? There it is. Okay. Huh. Wow. Forgive me. I know I put them all together here, because if I read it from the book, oh, here it is. Okay. This actually took place when the Tribune called, and I didn't even check to see what had been written, if anything, because I was really upset. But this is what happened. And this is why when I worked as, I was a nurse, a bit of a lab tech, a number of things at the George Jackson Free Health Clinic. Life light remembered. We are soldiers on the battlefield with life light in our eyes, said Sister Sonia. 1994, 23 years after volunteering at the George Jackson Free Health Clinic, the Tribune calls, asks, how many guns did you have at the Black Panther Clinic? How many guns? Not how many services were provided, not how many programs were implemented, Not how many doctors or healthcare workers volunteered, not even why we cared to put into practice such a program with so many hospitals in our community. No, didn't ask any of that. Wanted to know how many guns we had. Not what illnesses or diseases most affected our communities, or how often we screened for diabetes, sickle cell, or checked for high blood pressure, if at all, or what may have been my specialty at the time. I would have told them about certain grains to regain genetic memory, but they were more interested in how many guns we had. Not who ran the clinic, or what hours or days of the week we were open, or who was our hero or shero to set about such a task that sustains our health needs today. No, reporter didn't ask any of that. They wanted to know how many guns we had. Black men and women, late teens, 20-somethings, volunteered to become doctors, nurses, pharmacists, therapists, completed homework between seeing patients. Black volunteer staff physicians Dr. Talbert Small and Eddie Newsom developed methadone programs to destroy heroin dependence and reverse the curse of opioid addictions purposely placed in our neighborhoods to weaken the Black power base. We took vital signs, provided prenatal care, kept patient records, organized charts, med rooms, pharmacy, gave better care than Kaiser dared, held life light in our eyes, books our bullets, educationally armed our right to fight through walls that imprisoned us as violent, drug-infested, gun-carrying, sex-crazed jigaboos. Kwame Ture warned, education in this country makes you stupid, but what is worse, it makes you arrogant in your stupidity. The revolution is coming whether you want it or not. It is coming whether you want it or not. You must be politically prepared for what is coming. The revolution will not be televised, not be televised, not be televised. The revolution will be live. How many guns did we have? We were soldiers on the battlefield with life light in our eyes. We are soldiers on the battlefield with life light in our eyes. And there's, we have, we look at what's going on with family, we look at what's happening with, what many of you did things, I'm sure, when you were younger, just to make things happen in your neighborhood, in your life around you, just to, what can you do? But this was performed at the Cow Theater, and I read this was Kim Shuck and Ma Win and Aileen. And so this is what I wrote. Each of us took turns reading. And this is called Lessons from the Edge, because, we're on the edge of something right now. I mean, seriously. I just like, what? I heard some things today. When you hear things and it just kind of makes your head hurt just to hear it, because, it's, anyway, I'll just read this, and this is just some of the things here. Lessons from the Edge. States of mind compartmentalized. Pivots on edge, allege, warlords said, nudged them, seduced them, reduced them against their will, against nature. Break survival barrier. Make them think it's their doing. Make them refuse their existence. Words create a certain kind of remove, said the linguist regarding English. Trained not to think in systemic causation, said the scholar. We speak a language that picks our pocket, said the poet, and recognize a GO who was an OG who said an effect can become a cause reinforcing the original cause, producing the same effect in an intensified form, and so on indefinitely, as you heard before. History sleeps inside histology, skin, radar, bars, guards, flesh, bone, mind, soul, and remembers what you forget. Eyelids edge open, wide, snapped shut, catalogs, pictures, book, rock, drops in sea, blood water, waves, ripple, laps ashore, maps, collect arbor, accepts ovum, sperm, deed, navel to navel, new breed, bears responsibility. From the edge, an angle leashed in hegemony, directs how and when one life will end or begin. Respect the fetus, damn the child, adult, hunger, insult, unhoused, bodies trafficked, sold, mass murdered, condone the furor, suffer little ones who come unto me, for yours is the kingdom of G-O-D, guns, oil, drugs, where God respects no person. For the Bible tells us so in Acts 10:34. U.S. presidents swear upon, winning office, can't forgo. Born broken, lessons from the edge. Some children want to know if they will see their own children. Reassign gender parts. AMA new art, male newborn is born with less testosterone. Sperm count declining. 1% per year, last 50. Biochemists say by 2045 it'll be harder to conceive life. Will human reproduction survive ingesting GMOs, plastics, electromagnetic frequency? Most important product disrupts hormone receptors feed. Living on the edge. 900% rise in adult diapers. A nation pees on itself. Scared fecalists. Does this matter? Lessons from the Edge holds two opposed views at the same time. Doublethink dines on contradictions, afflicts decisions, argues well against both. Never let the right hand know what the left is doing. Say what? On the same body? Own nothing, be happy. Names, labels, prescribed behaviors, walking on shattered mirrors, glass jars exposed. Barefoot all over, opioid relieves pain, retains financial gains. Suicide prevention and assistance reign for revelations. In game. Got to cancel culture. Religious right is right, right? Is this Armageddon? The rapture? Lord, do you and the landlord have a thing going on? Are these lessons from an edge a trick or a treat? A wean from the holy, renunciation of instinct, or a preliminary go to hell? Papa Big Dog demands your secret calling card. Rather not serve in heaven, but rule in hell. It's a Milton's tale where allegiance fails and falls through filigreed walls, camouflage holes in floors, laws, prisons, courts, stepping on cracks, breaking mama's back. You didn't see it like this, you saw it like that. Groom alternative facts. Recommend manufacturing consent. Defend mind harvesting. Eyes wide open, bent on edge of remembrance. Internal intelligence annoyed between matter and void. Why social reckoning after lynching of George Floyd? He wasn't the first, has not been the last. World wars, near genocide of Native Americans, babies, children vanished from mothers' arms at borders, home, skin tone barred, indigenous, land first tongues ranked inferior, whose manifest destiny is superior, breaking barriers from an edge where U.S. government said, there's no scientific proof fish need water to survive. True story. Watching tens of thousands of fish lie belly up in dry rivers, want us to eat the insanity, offer two-faced mental health, drug, alcohol addiction agencies, complacent relieve lunacy, serving sugar high iced tea. Pay attention to that acronym there, right? Sugar high iced tea. Yeah, drink that. But we don't give up. Forget giving up. We try angles. Yes, we try angles. Inject project for Lifelight. Carbon-6, we ride their hex till gone. Weave, word, work in helix. Remember, wave up and down, round dance, art, music, our rod and staff. Synapse comforts living trees. Acknowledges ed footing. The edge. Flora, fauna, feet, fin, feathers, wheels. Fibonacci's seals. Consistent deal with the cosmos. As above, so below. Gut senses, heart, olfactory, what it knows. At the edge, expose. Expose. Feel your arc. Know your arc. In ways that insist our floral bouquets be the weight of the table. Who will attest to this investment? At the cell, barrier, edge, the door, where in every deliberation, the impact of our decisions must be made for the next 7 generations, those faces yet still beneath the ground. And then I think I'm going to end with, because that's it, right? Yeah. Yeah. So this is a favorite. I think it's Steve's favorite. Goldilocks. Okay, so too many kids would come up to me and say, would you read the Goldilocks story? Please read the Gold. I said, I'm not reading that to you. This is East Oakland. See, I don't even have to, you already know that stuff. You know, these are black children that cannot do what Goldilocks did. You know this already. So I wrote this for them and their parents as a news brief. Gosh, okay. This is the BWIB News. Be watching your back. The Goldilocks cover-up. This just in tonight. Goldilocks breaks in Three Bears' home. Three Bears charge Goldilocks, a.k.a. the Golden Bandit, with illegal entry among several other crimes implicated early Tuesday morning. Witnesses say the intrusion took place just after the family left for a walk in the woods. It was stated when Golden Bandit knocked on the door and no one answered, she let herself in. Moments after alleged entry, a witness on the wing said, quote, I saw Bandit steal and consume Bear's food, vandalize the furniture, and sleep in Baby Bear's bed, unquote. Investigators confirmed strands of blonde hair found in Baby Bear's bed did match that of Golden Bandit. Further investigations proved that the fried chicken, cornbread, sweet potatoes, and collard greens found on soiled clothing of Golden Bandit was indeed taken from Bear's stove day of alleged break-in. However, despite evidence leaning heavily against Golden Bandit, Bandit stated, when the Bears arrived home from their walk in the woods, I feared for my life. A witness on the prowl confirmed Bandit's accusation, stating that he in fact saw Bandit flee from Bear's home, screaming repeated allegations of rape and attempted murder. Bandit's father, a Superior Court judge, stated he would prosecute the Bears to the fullest extent of the law and signed warrants for their arrest. Mr. and Mrs. Bear, held in Mad Polly Trick County Jail, sued Golden Bandit for illegal entry, theft, vandalism, loitering, and defamation of character. The Bears also sued for reparations they claim is due for injustices such as the incurring in their family's history for the past 500 years. Sadly, however, Child Protection Services have placed Baby Bear in foster care until courts can further decide whether or not Mr. and Mrs. Bear are fit parents to raise baby in a safe, healthy environment. That's it for tonight. This has been the BWYB News saying, we tell the truth about the fairies on your tail. And this is what the book looks like. So, but it's, yes.
Tureeda, Mikell.
Thank you. And this young man here coming up, oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah, right.
Words out of my mouth. So that was wonderful. Tureeda, of course, touched on all the themes that are preoccupying all of us, in fact, in one way or another. And I'm, I don't know, I think I met James in 2015, something like that. And it was immediately one of those people you see, you go like, wow, it's Cousin James. And it's like, yeah. He's a person who he takes life seriously in a very beautiful way. It's like he's a student of all the things that are important in our lives, and I have a great admiration for him. And just to mention his two books, the first one was Black Steel Magnolias in the Hour of Chaos, which won the Penn Oakland Josephine Miles Award. And the second book, Martian, the Saint of Loneliness, won the James Laughlin Award from the Academy of American Poets. So all I can say, he has two books, two major awards. Stand back. All right, James. James Cagney.
Thank you for that, Michael. Bless you, Tureeda. That was a glorious, phenomenal reading for us. Oh, my goodness. And thank you for being here. Much love to you. The aftermath of atomic aneurysms at this altitude is every bride's burning bouquet, a bubble bulletin or bullet list of chores caught in the collapse of the Commonwealth Coast. Dollars to donuts, you'll dismiss the doctor's latest discovery. This evening has been at my expense, and I've had enough. If we're frying flounder for Father's Day, then who's got the goose grease? This gravy is humiliating. Who will hold us in the heather? What is heather? How's it hanging? Horizontal, unless I'm hallucinating. The indignity of ignorant inquiries from the Illuminati. It's insane. Who jump-started their jalopy at the Juneteenth Jamboree? The jockey was already jawing jerk chicken by the time we got to the kitchen. Knock wood, knucklehead, and don't kink shame my knobby knees. I'll let you lick the lyrics to your love language along my lower leg if you'll listen to me murmur about mules matriculating through med school. Never mind, my nudes were released to network news last night. We need order among the organisms. This isn't an orgy. It's an ordained paradox of pimps in your periphery. Please don't make this political. There's already a quarrel on the quad. Queue up for a quick questionnaire. Here's a quill and my first inquiry. Would you reach into your rage reservoir before recording restaurant reviews? The sauce on these sandwiches ain't been the same since Stephen had his sore throat. He said, "This thing is tingling." He's been so tough through his trials. I thought it was tragic until he took umbrage against my umbrella. I didn't upturn it. It belonged to my valet. He keeps various vanities in his valise. Waterproof Walkman, waffle iron, wood smoke-infused whiskey, waxed boxes affixed with axes, sexy onyx xenoliths, annexed as for a rue. Yesterday, he yelped over yardsticks, yearning for yeeks, but did not yippee. Zip it, Zeke. Blame your zodiac for its lack of pizzazz. For the longest time, I thought as a poet I was not connecting with form, but I'm like, okay, I think I can do an abecedarian pretty effectively. I think I've done like 5 of those thus far, and pantoums I can manage. So okay, I'm trying to learn a new way around, and I have never read these 2 poems I'm about to do back to back, and I'm basically doing this for me just so I can know what these 2 feel like, because they're related and they connect to one another. They were written separately, but apparently the subject wasn't done with me. I thought I was done with the poem, but it was not done with me. So this is the latest one, and then we'll do one from the book. The title of this poem comes from a quote I heard on the news after that mass shooting in Buffalo, New York. So this title is called "Teach Your Children to Remain Small and Invisible." We're planting bullets because seeds are illegal in poor hands. Our forfeited farms are either parking lots or cemeteries. Our scarecrows canceled choirs with selfie sticks. Farms of the U.S. were once grandparents with mules. Now they're corporations that harvest guns from the ground. We used to bury elders, their fists dripping mustard seeds. Now seeds are more illegal than bullets, and my family can't afford to bury anything. Hatches, vices, debt. Oh, ghost of Medgar Evers, pray for us. We twerk over what we can't repent, fight what we can't fuck. Look at us, all fancy with our fetishized compassion. The Constitution has been updated with plagiarized gunman manifestos and a centerfold of an AR-15. Free speech is only valuable when your point is rhetorical nonsense, but you don't hear me though. Your ears still ringing from the shootout at the softball game. Is it time for a new war yet? Wake up the president. We need fresh genocide to take pressure off our old one. We need cash back on fired bullets that didn't hit anything. We need cheerleaders on the battlefield commuting through dead cities. Here's a local supermarket holding active shooter drills and sweepstake giveaways. Here's a church closed for a private baptism of bullets. Here's an icon of Mary holding an icon of a bulletproof baby Jesus beneath a speech balloon reading, "Hands up, don't shoot." Grief. It's what's for dinner at our Last Supper. Doubting Thomas ran a finger through Jesus' wound, and a bullet popped out. We need a new savior who can turn water into ammo and who doesn't look like an out-of-work magazine model. There is a whole-ass church in that open casket. Go get in it and know God. Hurry up so we can fill your grave with buckshot. Did you know that another name for bullet is love letter? Is it better to give or receive? All our tears have been outsourced to unarmed countries. When the smoke clears, whoever is left standing gets to play eyewitness on morning TV. If you're going to be famous for 15 minutes, be breaking news. Be a top story where veteran reporters choke on their tears. Be described as very polite and very quiet and very shy. Smile for the grocery store security cameras while reloading. Pause your live stream for ad breaks from ammunition sponsors. A bullet by any other name will still bloom just as red as the love I feel during any American shootout. Which YouTube star will lip sync the anthem while a procession of police cars pull into the parking lot? In this country, we don't have a problem with guns. Our problem is with mental health, as in, you must be crazy to think I would give up my gun. Or, shoot first, take meds later. Or, why doesn't a loaded gun count as health care? Did you know police do not offer buyback programs in affluent neighborhoods? They hold stand-your-ground workshops at high schools with kiddie shooting ranges. Did you know toy producer Tonka once made real rifles? A buck's a buck, but don't tell that to a deer. Guns were once called peacemakers. Where's peace? This is called bullet gumbo. If bullets exploded into flowers, maybe my son's effigy of ashes and clay would be worth it. So says every new parent handed a birth and death certificate stapled together. In some communities, this is health insurance. Look, I'm gonna puff up like a bird and chirp. For those easily triggered, stick 'em up, motherfuckers. As you exit, double check that the body you're stepping over in the street isn't someone you know. You know what's tired? Memorial chalk outlines every Black History Month, stenciled outside gentrified coffee shops for English bulldogs only. America scrubs its streets clean of history. America scrubs its streets clean with coppery bodies. Loofahs, afros, same difference. Asphalt angels, limbs like arms on a crazy clock that has no idea what time it is, right now or 200 years ago. I can no longer tell the difference between a casket and a crib, Grandmama says. She done started knitting chalk outlines. She sees them more than flowers. She say the lilies springing from the holes in his chest smell like old churches full of out-of-print Bibles. If evolution is real, then we're one generation away from a girl birthing a baby with bullet holes already in it. Not birthmarks, more like ricochets. It'll be an ignored miracle. You may have to watch the news all night. Asphalt angels, limbs extended into star points beneath a tableau of cops arranged like doubters in every Renaissance painting of a doomed Christ. Every rookie knows that death is certain and heaven is not. That's what makes a bullet an easier citation to write. Asphalt angels, bullets full of holy water, passed out like placebos at the trap house to inoculate against crime or blackness, whichever's first. It may look like Grandmama is praying, but she's drafting obituaries like team stats. A journalist once paid her in a shotgun shell full of okra seeds and asked, "How can you find so much sorrow in such a small space?" She started counting a mental rosary of graves and said, "Here's what's so terrifying about tenderness: being the last one left to feel anything." Is it true guns don't kill people? Grandmama asked her doctor. Let's see. Confusion kills people. Fear kills people. Hatred kills people. The first people armed are usually confused, afraid, and full of hate. Her doctor said, "Only if the gun is loaded with cancer." Tee-hee. Grandmama knelt down to pray, then raised her hands where God could see them. "Artillery Father, who open carry off the shooting range, Hallow Point be thy name." Her doctor said, "Take 2 bullets every 10 minutes until it stops." If your God's not armed, you are going to the wrong church. When the preacher shouts, "Is you been baptized?" he means, show me your bullet wounds, the little puckered keloids where Christ has kissed you. Every mass shooting, and by mass I mean form of worship, is an infomercial for the NRA, followed by pop-up gun shows bringing all the boys to the yard faster than Girl Scout cookies. The streets were filled the other day with young people marching in protest, desperate to end gun violence. If their teachers had been armed, there would have been no protesting. In fact, there would be little difference between going to school or being held hostage. If a school loses a child to an armed teacher, the family will be awarded 10 minutes on Good Morning America, a certified death diploma, an engraved memorial desk with the child's name and likeness airbrushed in graffiti. Note, this offer is not available in all school districts. Is it true guns don't kill people? Depends on whether you consider a gun-based suicide waste of a bullet or the ultimate act of patriotism. If you had to show a gun as a form of ID, then the phrase would be unarmed immigrants. These are challenging times with difficult questions to ponder. Why don't you come out to the balcony for some unoppressed air? Step up to the podium. Step out of the car with your hands up. That's not rain, that's blood plasma. The answer to all these riddles is dry firing from the sky. All right? Ooh-wee. Yeah, unfortunately. There was a poem I ran across by Allen Ginsberg a bunch of years ago, and that I've always liked it and how he delivered it. And this poem is modeled after that poem that he wrote in 1956. This piece is called Between a Rock Wall and an Immigrant.
What was his title?
America. America? Goddamn. This is what it's like being between Plymouth's rock wall and an immigrant. America, liberty and justice sure do make cute baby goat names. America, your wig is powdered with coke, but the lice don't seem to mind. America, I'm leaning in. I'm waiting for the conversation to turn to genocide so I can say, me too. America, wake up. You're missing the point. You invented terrorism, but only use dark-skinned models in its ad campaigns. You award assassins with Black Friday arms deals. America, when I say you, I mean we. The people, I guess. I plan to make extra cash trademarking waterboarding, but it's patented already. Are there torches you don't profit from? To which bank do you entrust your thoughts and prayers? America, can you say her name? As in a novena, not a marketing slogan. America, 9 people were murdered in a church, but the shooter on your flatbed truck missed lunch. 11 people were murdered in a synagogue, but they brought it on themselves praying unarmed. 20 children were shot at Sandy Hook, but your taste is for a loaded gun over a living child. If you say you love children, Emmett Till has 4 little girls he'd like to ask you about. Here I go, bringing up old shit again. America, you pass blood hand to hand, generation to generation. Has it ever occurred that you might be the savage, the terrorist, the outside threat you are most afraid of? Ask the Dakota Sioux their version of our history. Ask the buffalo about their endless pains. Ask the poisoned dead about the true meaning of Thanksgiving. Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. You dropped the compassion units from all your mindfulness classes. America, what do we tell our children about this home of dead braves? What do we tell our children, period? America, you had a great idea once. You're a dry drunk. You throw a bomb, then hide your hand. You're the main suspect and loudest victim. Stop, children. What's the sound of a mag light hitting a migrant's skull? This is not set up for a bar joke. This is me wondering why people are still crossing deserts to escape slavery and oppression only to meet a walled promised land. In 1987, President Ronald Reagan demanded Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev tear down this wall dividing East and West Berlin. After all these years, it never occurred to me that we kept those bricks in storage. America, you're a big foster home where the poor comes in for its abuse. It's possible that the people who've passed the naturalization test know more about American history than you do, and they still want to live here. America, kneeling was once viewed as a sign of respect or surrender, a sign of honor, a pledge. When a black man kneels, the gesture becomes threatening. America, there I go, there I go, there I go. America, can you just say her name? Any name. Insert a name here, like voting someone off your island. America, this year my therapist recommended I get a facelift. I misheard her say race lift. America, every time a siren rings, a black man gets his wings, and his mother kneels at an open casket to sing the national anthem. God's heart bursting, a napalm cherry midair. What would it look like? Who would we be if we had no one left to hate or ban? Can you imagine this with your eyes open? Okay? Right on. All right. Thank you. I will stop whining, bitching, and preaching and actually do 2 poems, and then we're done. Thank you very, very kindly. Let's do this piece is modeled. If you know it, I'm just going to say it. If you don't, I don't think it really matters. But this poem is inspired by the painting by Magritte that's called the Le Duo or The Lovers from 1928. And just for those who may not, it's the image of 2 individuals kissing, but they both have cloths over their faces. This is called Love is Easier the Headless Way. Love is easier the headless way. What good is desire in a world where there is only a thriving darkness? Your mouth is a gate opening to any place away from here, the crumbling mansion of my nothing heart. With this form-fitting cloth, I do wed. Let us spill into one another like waves of agitated milk, placing our thoughts elsewhere onto unavailable others, while our useless arms disappear into what frames us. Bench, bed, brothel of the mind. Everywhere we turn, winter remains unfinished. You don't trust your mouth, and I don't trust anyone who says they love me. What are we willing to emotionally barter for when all we have is the simple meat of ourselves? And who can say what color the world was before the earth's canvas began flowering paint? I have this recurring dream where we live nameless as mushrooms in the shadow of primeval birds, birds who eluded ornithologists and didn't want the press, but who agreed to soar forever without landing and seed the earth with minerals of light. I awake usually in a choking grief. How we've agreed to love one another without ever opening our eyes. All right. And last but not least, me and my father really spent a lot of time listening to the blues, and This poem was triggered by my father's uncle in a way. Because at some point I began to wonder, that old story about Robert Johnson, that myth, that legend about him selling his soul in order to learn to play music. And he went to the crossroads wherein to actually do it. And it suddenly occurred to me, that was an actual location. What does that neighborhood look like where one would meet the devil at this location? And and I'll tell you because I haven't told anybody else, but based on where my father's uncle lived in Delano, California, at the time in the late 70s, early 80s, that's what I thought about. This is called House of Slams and Hollers. Who occupies the storefront houses at the crossroads? Shotgun houses like abandoned churches. One house slouched behind the musty aroma of trees. Windowsill radio chatters like a bird on caffeine. The living room smells swampy with ashes and bottle caps. Kitchen of vintage graveyard shift coffee. Boiled viceroys. Cicadas with exoskeletons of brandy and chickens chained in the backyard. Night turns over, haunted with moths. Air cooled with shuffled decks and howling hounds missing hell. The methane of certain ghosts gets drawn like window shades, dealt in, poured shots at this place where the road crosses its legs like a gentleman. Here lies the uncharted territories of some blues. Stigmata blues, razor blade blues, blues for lips just out of reach, blues screaming blouses of plaster down bedroom walls. Choirs of apocalypse blues ignite the red wicks of their tongues, sing harmony to calm Bluegill River for Saturday's baptism of hot lead. Dawn rises with fire on its mind, takes off its top hat. Names drip from his mouth in comets, false crosses. Anything not already on the ground, holding on, praying, done grabbed a guitar, a shotgun, and ran. I thank you all very, very much.
Well, of course, I'm speechless, but I'm kind of obliged to say something. But, man, yeah. There is a tip jar for the poets, which I'm sure you guys will make liberal use of that old tip jar. Yeah, James, thank you so much. I mean, that's, yeah. So we're going to take, I don't know, let's say 8 to 10 minute break before the open session, and Jerry has the sign up thing. If there's anybody who would like to read who has yet to sign up, yeah. So yeah, I'm just so, this is even more thrilling than I anticipated, and I was expecting only the best. So yeah, all right. So for our poets again, thank you so much.
tell her.
Right.
Yeah, there's no. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I got
Go.
it.
Way to go. That's awesome.
Righteous, thank you for this.
She said she
Yeah,
knew
yeah.
who he was.
Both of you guys. I think she does. She knew. Yeah. No, no.
Because she said she did it last year. Maybe they sent it after the deadline.
Yeah, Sacred Grounds a while ago.
They're disenchanted with it because they've been rejected so many times.
I have, yeah.
One of your
Because
early ones.
every time Wednesday gets
Yeah.
around,
She
I
told
think
I
of
told
it.
him that.
I can't. Well, this thing.
Before they got up themselves.
Dig it.
Said before they got up themselves.
Yes. Yes. And perhaps this time it,
Yeah.
charm, right?
What's up?
Oh, so.
Most of my stuff. Yeah, and then we have. Sorry.
Hey,
Do we have
you
a-
have a book.
Oh my
right?
God.
Hey, how are you?
How are you?
Good to see you. I like your glasses.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. You have a book that you're.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes, do they have it here?
I don't know. I was wondering if you did.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Oh, let me show you what it looks
Sure.
like.
Wow. Go ahead, Matt.
Sure.
When did this came out fairly recently?
Well, 2020, it came out.
Fairly recent. They have copies of it here.
They might have. They have.
I'll find out.
Normally they do when.
I'll take a look. Hey,
Yeah.
Matt.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, good to hear you. Great.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Any particular thing that stand out that you?
Yeah, the one about black men.
Oh,
You're more interested in how many guns you had then. I think
Right,
I've
right.
heard that one, but it was, and then your little side remarks about, you're hilarious. Funny, ironic.
Okay.
But I thought, yeah, that one really stood out.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And tell me your name.
Tom.
Tom. Thank you so much.
Tureeda.
Yes.
Are you related to Mikell's, the bar? I think I mentioned that.
Oh, yes. Families. This is unfortunately, that was one of the migrations there, and people say, oh, yeah.
It's not direct, it's kind of more.
Well, cousins, you know, that way.
Of course, they didn't have their red wave.
So he's not like
they're different.
your uncle or your
No,
brother or something.
no, not brother.
It's a rare name, and when
It
you mentioned
is.
I knew because I'm from that neighborhood in New York, and I used to go there. And I liked Mikell.
Oh, okay.
I met him at some point. It was the local. It was like the main jazz place in the neighborhood.
Yeah, because Amiri Baraka also asked me.
He asked you the same question?
Yeah, he asked me the same question.
Probably.
Yeah,
It's a
because
great place.
there aren't many of us with that name.
Yeah. I think you're the only other one. You never went there.
I have yet to go there all over New York, practically, but every time it's like the timing.
Right.
Yeah.
You've been to New York, you just never.
Haven't been to that particular spot yet.
It's long gone.
Yeah, I've heard. I've heard.
97th Columbus Avenue.
Okay. Wow.
That's what it makes.
Was it a performance place or was it just a neighborhood?
It was jazz.
Yeah, it was a jazz bar.
Okay.
Two places where there was that on 97th Columbus, and then the Cellar. I don't know if you've heard of the Cellar.
Oh, the cellar. Yeah,
Heard of
that's
the
big.
Cellar?
Yeah.
That was also like not far, like on 94th and off Columbus. But I remember the Cellar having music. Mikell's totally. One guy I remember playing there a lot was I met his daughter, but they used to play there all the time, and that was like one of his. He was one of the better known acts. They had all kinds. I knew my father, was an arranger, and I knew bartenders in that bar. This guy was
Yeah.
neighborhood
No,
stop.
we'll probably think
Right.
Uptown. It wasn't not quite Harlem, but like on the edge.
Jazz. I go to jazz
And
fest
there
before.
weren't, yeah, it's not Harlem. It's
But
not.
yeah,
But it was that neighborhood.
food,
Yeah.
jazz. I just like walking. I really, New Orleans to me
I was
is
there for a while. I was there for maybe
like
10, 20 years.
there's a story.
It had a good run.
Parts of San
Yeah.
Francisco.
going to try to get a copy of your book.
All right, we're going to start the open session momentarily. And people have been asking about Tureeda's and James's books. I know we had James's first book. I don't know. I don't think the second. Are you aware, James, of how, like, does Nomadic do their own distributing and stuff?
They do, and I think Penguin also.
The-
And I think it should be available through Penguin.
Oh, it's just now coming out, kind of. Okay, so Eric, so guys, if I could have your attention, please. Excuse me, if I could have your attention, please. If you want to talk, you're welcome to go outside and chat all you want. But oh, mic is not on. Was it turned off or what? Is on? Is that on? I don't know. Is that working? All right. All right. Is that better? Could we be heard? Okay. So Jerry is going to preside over the open. I'm going to read just a couple quick things beforehand. And when Eric is here, I want to, again, make sure that I don't think we currently have the books of tonight's readers, but we definitely have to do that and make sure that they're available for people who want them. And, of course, you're free. If you guys have books to sell tonight, you're certainly welcome to do that. A little, on the side or whatever, but...
I tried, ran out, and then tried again.
Yeah, no, I know. The life of a poet is a constant struggle. So, so there's that. I also want to mention to people that one of the stalwarts of the mission over the years, Jorge Argueta, who, yes, an accomplished poet and also a children's author, a book author, he has happily been named the Poet Laureate of San Mateo. And there's going to be an event for him on Thursday, February the 23rd, 5:30 p.m. at the Daly City Public Library. And I think there are a few little things, announcements. You could take one if you want to. Yeah, no, he's a righteous man. He has a children's book project in El Salvador, and he goes back regularly, spends the bulk of his time there, and it's really awesome because that's not an environment that's easily conducive to cultural work with children. It's very, very challenging. So he's an awesome guy. So that's happening. And okay, so we're going to do the open thing, and I will read just a couple of quick little things, which I just grabbed. This is entitled Again. I go first one place and then another. Barrels and semicircles, men in blue, silos under grasses, bronze light off bells. And do I want to go down again? Oh yes. Smoke rises, and love, dark root, scatters its wicks in the wind. Oh yes, I want to go down again. This is called Contra Diem. We've better prune back the gods. They've grown too goddamn big. It's the year of the funky dog. Next year's the year of the pig. Forget the mosques and steeples, the avatars in robes, the crowns of thorns, the karma, the Ganeshas, Siddharthas, and Jobs. Let's pare down to the least of gods, get lost in the least of men. Our hard-earned scars and weariness gleam godlike now and then. So, okay, thank you. And Jerry Perez now will preside.
I don't know if anyone, maybe some of you have been around long enough to remember Nancy Wakeman. Yeah, she passed away. Yeah. Huh?
I saw something about that yesterday.
Yeah, where?
Where was it? Somewhere on the
Yeah,
internet.
she used to come off and yeah.
Jesus.
Okay. And this is called Pop Satori. Sprawled across my bed when pop goes my head. Baby with a sudden bang so loud my whole bod shook loose. There, in the deepest sense, in its essence. All was but a bodiless blackness in the round, the very picture of emptiness, where you make your cake and eat it too, where even without a window anymore, spring jumps in with its wordless wisdom everywhere I turn. And it's my fate to escape this world of confusion by holding to the mean upon awakening from this mirror-like dream. Okay, we've got 9 poets signed up, and anybody who wants to sign up, please get your name on the list here. And our first poet is Paul Slade.
Yes, we heard his eloquent poems about the guns in our society. I know 10 Vietnam vets. None of us have an AR-15. Okay, and never want to see one ever again. I just wanted to say that. Okay.
Wow, thank you.
This is called Night Jive. Jazz, jizz, jukes, tones, timed, detox from yellow charts, lips, reeds, fingers, keys, octaves, 80 times over, more times than given in the jailhouse, urban, undulating. Patterns picante, fingers on camels, golden arms, tongues on half notes, chords in the cleavage, Iliads leading to illicit dreams, black and white and neon colored nightclubs, cubist rectangles curved in the corners, cool music from the back of the cranium, 16 and a third, 45, 33 and a third, LP, CDs, vinyl bites on demand, compressed in little boxes, from Delta Cotton to Couture, hipsters, blue notes, old notes, new notes from a mile, codas, clapping, dizzy dance, in 6/8 time, fast breaths without oxygen, write in Dizzy Gillespie for president, remember, jazz not best when served cold. Thank you.
Okay, and Steve Arnston, who we haven't seen around here for a while here.
Yes, Steve.
Thanks, Gary. It's good to see you again. And
Now, as you, I sent some very bad ideas to James Cagney Jr., but he agreed with me that they were very good bad ideas. Did you not?
Very much so.
Okay, so I'm going to give you the one that I think is his favorite. Goes like this. And then I'm going to play something on this, but it won't take too long. All right. You break into a cowboy bar after closing time, to steal the dollars off the ceiling and the walls. But you don't believe the sign that says, "Beware of the Doberman." Okay, special for you, because she plays piano too, by the way.
Hi, guys. Hello. Steve, that was beautiful. 2 pieces. First one, a stable being. To understand is to see how little we know in this form, millions of bits of information to digest, and yet to do so drives us mad. Perhaps then we go observe the simplistic. A raindrop on the leaf, a bird song at sunrise, a walk in the sand and beach shoreline. Breath is not yesterday or in a distant future, but here with deep inhales, pause, and exhales. Thought leads a mind astray down many roads, and darkness waits in areas, though they never give a warning of their malicious intent. Thus can I learn to see life as wisdom, my perennial teacher, a wild proposition, an absurd proposal that I, the one who's with said level of comprehension inside, am the thinker of my thoughts. No other but this sense of self can control the process inside or attachment to any particular thought. And when we slow down to give way to silence, maybe inner peace might just appear, once a phantom in the night, now fully present and willing to share its pristine gift. So share onward, calm being. We are here to love, to learn, and to live by your guidance. And the second one is called Breaking Through. She was told by others what her life would be like at 19, having a kid, at 20, being married, at 21, the rest of her life planned for her. And I asked her, is that what you want it to be? And she said, no, I'd like to be a nurse. I'd like to go to school. I'd like to walk a different path, to quote Captain Nemo. I would like to go to a point where I am not defined by what I look like or what I have between my legs, but what I have it inside me to be. I said, you go, girl. When she sits in my classroom, we are in outer space. I am no longer the innocent bystander. I am on this journey with her, and I tell her the sky is not just the limit. You have to punch through it. Because at times when those people before you would put ceilings on you, you have to realize this was imposed, not by any goodwill, but by the fact that you would be told what you were to do with this existence. She was scared. She was afraid. She had the trembling within her hands as she signed out the college applications, the first to do so in her family, many generations in the fields, picking stuff from the earth. I said, you are picking out your destiny. And when you go down this road, I know you're going to be scared. I know you're not going to always know the answer to the test. I understand that someone is going to look at you and say, well, wait a minute, your English isn't perfect. And when that moment happens, I can't be there with you. And all I can say is something to be someone on the traveler of the road that you take. To be there as a lantern maybe once in a while. But I can tell you this. The same beauty that lies in your mother's heart, in your father's heart, in your cousin's heart, in your sister's heart, lies in you. You are the cosmos in action. Never forget that shit, because the world will try to size you down. You are a giant walking forward. I know there is a power inside of you that you need to reach down and find. And I know you're scared, but the same stardust in your bones is in mine. We are here together in this moment, and I can't walk the road with you. I can't walk the road for you, but damn it, I can try to help you light the fire again. And if you need it, I will be here every day until graduation. And then after, because you are about to break through. You are about to show the world what possible looks like. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brett and Claire.
Okay, I'm feeling a little minimalistic tonight. If that's a word. This is called Country Life. When I lived in the countryside, I blasted baseball from my boombox. The crack of bats, the roar of spectators, and the calls of the announcers drowned the songs of birds and the flutter of leaves. In my cabin, I glued shut the curtains to escape the embrace of sunrise and greetings from the garden. I threw beer bottles at the deer. I flicked cigarette butts on the pathways. One day, I set fire to the vegetable garden. As I watched the peas, gasoline-soaked, sizzle on their vine, I marveled at country life and how wholesome I had become.
Okay, Claire, and then Alice Rogoff. Welcome back. Alice publishes the Haight-Ashbury Literary Journal. Yeah.
3 lives. Here on Forster Avenue, there is a woman on my street who wears a burqa, covered in black in the California sun, holding the hand of a little boy, her grandson, walking to the grocery store. The crossing guard helps her pass on the way to the elementary school. Waiting at the bus stop here on Forster Avenue is a young woman wearing a hijab and jeans, the pink scarf wrapping around her hair, the latest style, floral applique. She carries a large psychology textbook, boards the bus to City College. A woman in Iran throws her hijab away, dances, dies, and disappears. Years ago, she was confined in a cage, still in another cage of separation, put on a treadmill, jumble of paperwork, while parents gone, declared illegal, children floating in ocean of tears, bonding in limbo, harsh crossing. What does family friendly mean? Has she found her parents yet, or is she number 510, unreunited? To Kill a Mockingbird, 2 months after seeing the play to George Floyd. If only the mockingbirds could fly away from this large plantation, this small southern town, away from a New York stoop and San Francisco park. If only mockingbirds were not the prey of those who exercise power upon them, if their calls could be uncaged, if their calls could be heard, if only the police would stop murdering another black man or woman in the USA. And this is called the Spanish Kings in the Park. Not a very used park, though beautiful. Only one statue there with a plaque to explain, dressed in armor and a sword, all in black. One Spanish king, Juan Carlos, gifted the monument of another Spanish king, Juan Carlos, who founded San Francisco, the Presidio military base, and the mission. The modern King Carlos must have been proud to commemorate. No mention of the native Ohlone, of enforced labor, not a statue that anyone really notices as scullers row boats or children picnic in the park. The gift from one king by another king almost looks lonely, presiding over the ducks and raccoons, over former land grants, later stolen, which cheated the Spanish settlers as well as the Ohlone.
Do you know who said never let your left hand know what your right hand is doing?
Jesus said that.
That's right. That's Jesus said that.
You know, and that is just ironic, isn't it? It's really amazing.
Well, you find that in the Gospel of St. Thomas. write down what Jesus said. That's all he did. He didn't politicize it or spin it or anything like that. So in the Bible, they know him. They call him Doubting Thomas. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He put his finger and took out the bullet.
There you go.
Keep going, Jerry.
Okay. All right. JB Frank, please. Well, it refers to giving alms. You know, when you give with one hand, don't take credit for it with the other hand.
I have a bad memory. So these are sort of this. I'm going to read two. They're very short, maybe three, but the working title, tentative title, notes on the function of mass hysteria in the age of the internet. First one called Crimes. Time to repent, equalize with the victim, hide malevolence with mask of redemption. Insincerity breeds culpability. It's time to pull on the martyr's cloak. Mess with our minds, malefactor. Turn us, corrupt us. It won't get you anywhere. Mockery is a solvent for tyranny. Red cars are illegal in Cairo. Joy is a felony in Tehran. Now, I got a footnote. When King Farouk was king of Egypt, before he was overthrown by Nasser, he had a red car and he made it against the law for anybody else to have a red car. And if somebody passed him on the road, he'd shoot at him. Normally, he'd aim for the tire. Sometimes he'd get a passenger. But he was the king, so. Okay, this is called the Crush. No, I'm not going to read that one. Too gross. Wait a minute, there's the last one.
There's another one inside.
Yeah, this is the last one. This is the one I really wanted to read. Food for thought, I guess. It's called Dead White People. How outrageous to see rosy cheeks rent with gore, oozing. These lives actually matter. Plus, we're not guilty this time. Problem, however, guilt lurks like regret. Shock and awe, remember? Baghdad, Kiev, all the ruined cities look alike. Rubble bounces in obscene buoyancy. Body parts litter a schoolyard. Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, who the fuck knows? Component parts litter asphalt and concrete. That's all you get.
Okay, thank you, JB. And Alan Harris, please.
It's a chair.
No devices, please.
Oh, it's a joke. Your humor was so dry. I can't.
So matter of fact.
I recently learned that my mother hated water. She was at a dinner party one time and she was asked if she wanted water with her meal, and she replied, "No, I hate water." So my mother hated one of the basic elements of nature. I wonder how she felt about fire and air. Did she hate them too? If she did, that would explain a lot about my childhood, like why none of the food that I was given to eat was ever cooked, and why I was always being given plastic dry cleaning bags to play with. And what about ice and light and darkness? Did she hate them too? Did she hate nature in general? Was she a nature hater? Did she never know the simple pleasure of wandering through a forest awed by towering trees or the majesty of surrounding hills, the soaring beauty of a bird taking flight, or the astonishing agility of deer as they bolt through the thicket? Not to mention the insects and the reptiles and the moss and the algae and the fascinating creepiness of the microorganisms that you couldn't see but you just knew were there, staring at you, patiently waiting for you to let down your guard so one of them could infect you and turn you into a bigger version of them. Maybe my mother had the right idea. Nature is weird and dangerous. It lures you in by seducing you with its idyllic landscapes and pastoral serenity. And the next thing you know, you're being bitten by a tsetse fly and getting the African sleeping sickness, which causes you to walk off the edge of a cliff and plummet hundreds of feet into a raging river where you could be sent hurtling into surrounding rocks with a skull-crushing force. Or perhaps you land in a placid lake where, depending on what part of the world you're in, you could be eaten by a saltwater crocodile whose jaws are so strong that their bite delivers 3,700 pounds per square inch, and yes, that's a lot. Or possibly stung by a box jellyfish, the most venomous marine animal in the world, whose sting contains toxins that can simultaneously attack your heart, nervous system, and skin cells. But if somehow you manage to avoid all of that and emerge from what should have been a watery grave, you might be so disoriented from all the sleeping and plummeting and near skull-crushing, croc-biting, and jellyfish stinging that you don't notice, right in your path, the black mamba snake, whose bite delivers enough venom to kill 10 people, or the bed of oleanders, whose flowery loveliness belies their evil intentions to poison you and irritate your skin. How anyone survives an encounter with nature is beyond me. And the fact that my mother hated water may very well be yet another example of what a wise woman she was. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. And now we have Brittany.
So much stuff on here. Oh gosh. Thanks so much. This is my first time doing anything in front of an audience since 2020. In California, so we'll be fair. So I'm very grateful. I'll read 2 poems tonight from my book, Rejected. A little bit of Spirit of the Love with our Hallmark holiday coming up. Let's get to it. Our Hallmark holiday. This one is called The Drive Down River. Mother took me on a drive down river. It was summer. Wild blackberries tangled alongside the Klamath River bank. Dragonflies swarmed above the foaming current. Star thistles coated the canyon cliffs in yellow patches. Mother looked down at the river. It moved as fast as our Volkswagen did, the one Dad bought her 2 years ago, the same one I crashed in the tree. Joni Mitchell played in the tape deck. Something important was going on, something meaningful about to be said. Mother rolled the window down, waved her tan arm out into the highway wind. She was remembering something. And then she told me, "Your dad used to take me for rides all the time. We used to do these kinds of things. But today, I caught him at the deli clerk's house." Thank you. This is summer of 2014. We cruised in his convertible up and down the East Bay freeways, his black beauty Porsche pushing us fast forward. All was okay. We were loose, in love a bit. Summer sun crimsoned my cheeks. His hand held mine, rested on my upper left thigh. Acoustic guitar strung from his Spotify. From time to time he'd glance at me, his heart-shaped lips smiling frequently. And all was bright and nothing dim, driving 90 miles per hour together with him. Thank you.
So that was great. Come back, please. Yeah. Great. And then, for the first time, reading for anybody, Adam.
Thank you. Yes. Very first time I'm ever doing anything like this. Yeah, very first time. Thank you. So this one is called The Ballerina. It has always been a dream, but it challenged me to be out of place. And all of a sudden, my dreams felt so small. Since then, I've lived my life behind a wall, not knowing what it means to be a man. I think there's innocence maintained in dance. This girl I knew loved to dance. Her mother said it was always her dream. Her glow and passion intrigued this young man. I adored her, treated her like first place. I wanted that feeling before this wall. Even with her next to me, I feel small. But up on stage, she is small. Shining in the spotlight, she loves to dance, twirling so bright, light bounces off the wall. Like magic, I mistook this for a dream. I did a double take to find my place. Crying now, forgetting that I'm a man. I wanted to be the man. How could I, when I've always felt so small? Only a desire to feel in place, just in the way she did that day with her dance. Indecisiveness makes it just a dream. But when my eyes open, there's only a wall. She put my thoughts on the wall. I've never been so baffled as a man. If I could dream as big as she could dream, then just maybe my mind won't feel so small. I admired her expression through dance, such a strong desire to find that place. Not all who live find that place. Unfortunately, no map on this wall. But this little girl found that place in dance. I'm stuck behind the wall where it said, "Man up. Express who you are, and you are small." There is one place without judgment. A dream. I'm thinking of a place where a man is not held back by a wall or made to feel small, but can dance the night into a dream. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's it. Thanks for all coming. Please come back. And Michael, who's our next feature?
Look online. The name escapes me at this moment, but it will be superb.
All right, thank you very much. All right. You guys get all this.
Yeah, okay.
Some money I gotta wait.
This is Tureeda.
Oh, thank you so kindly.
Honorary.
Yeah,
Did you mention the woman who, did you actually mention the woman who financed the?
Nancy Wakeman.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, great. No, I can't thank you guys enough. I mean, seriously.
Right, that's
Oh my
fine.
God, you're so many women. You touched on so many themes. I mean, I gotta, so many things that is just thinking about your grandchild with you, because I know that feeling so much. It's a strange, like a fundamental
Appreciate it. I love the piano. Right.
You're awesome.
Oh, thank you kindly. Yes. No, it's nice. I really, I love all your work. It's so powerful. My favorite one was the whole thing. Well, it was yeah, no, it was like, you're gonna get. It was like the razor. It was cool. Spooky. There is no discerning. Yeah. There's something.
It's like that was kind of a nice accident that poems came together and then somehow just came together.
Yeah, you get inspired by art. Yeah.
No, the whole thing is such a challenge.
It's an honor to hear you.
Honor to meet you too. All right. Take care. Okay. See you next time.
And in your books, you gotta,
I wasn't even thinking. I should have brought some.
Yeah, you should. I haven't.
Well, I'm out of mine.
Yeah, well, let us know, because definitely we gotta carry it. Because I know we had your first book, but then I don't even know if we have copies left. We gotta get on that and definitely have copies. Yes, indeed. So, it's been an absolute pleasure.
That was a great pleasure. It's a great pleasure to get here in Irene, and it's good to see you again.
Yeah, no, it's been a big pandemic times for us. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of yang. Yeah, speaking.
It was almost too much.
Yang. No, it was enough. It was the way it was supposed to be. I can't, it was enough for where you felt that was supposed to be. And, we just, because when I came here,
Yeah. No, everything you said is so many just memorable moments. Yeah. I'm surprised that Eric, maybe he's taking you guys that work so hard, so he lives downstairs, and he's always doing stuff. So if he takes a minute off, he could fall asleep.
Oh, wow.
He's not feeling well.
What? What?
He's not feeling well. dining room with the piano? Yeah. I see you in there. I see you in there.
I gotta go there.
Okay, okay. So,
Advertise me.
huh? I know people.
Yeah, because you've been looking for like places to do the another recital.
Before, yeah, before I get too lazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, I saw when I looked.
Don't look at me in that tone of voice. Where over the rainbow.
I told you I sat next to the original Munchkins.
Oh my God, yes.
I sat next to them on an airplane. Had no idea who I wrote the story. I have the story already written. I documented it.
They were a rowdy bunch.
Yeah, I was